Hi, Alex. Hi,
Hey, how
Claude.
you
Thank
doing, Nick?
you
How you doing?
so good. Thank you so much for joining IIN today to talk about men's health. Um, I'll intro you both a little bit. We have Alex Lewis, who is an all Big Ten football player, who was an all Big Ten football player at the University of Wisconsin.
Got it right,
Alex
baby.
was
Got it.
Alex was drafted to the Lions in the 5th round.
Yeah.
And after retiring from football, he became a professional boxer.
Yes.
Alex is currently the head instructor at the Mayweather Boxing Fitness in Birmingham, Michigan. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you very much, Nina. I appreciate it, and I said, man, I can't wait to join the conversation with you guys.
Same here. And we have Claude. Claude played football at the University of Pittsburgh and was drafted to the Bears in the 5th round. Currently residing in the DC area, Claude founded Quest Act, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to give a platform for athletes to provide authentic, transparent guidance to understand life's experiences beyond the game. Quest Act matches current and retired NFL athletes with young adults from all backgrounds to help them improve their mindset for better decision making and empower them to lead healthier lifestyles and embrace more of life's opportunities. Welcome, Claude.
Thank you. Appreciate this, Nina.
You're welcome. Well, so we're here today to talk about men's health, and it's something that we don't talk about often and we don't talk about enough. So I would love to hear from each of you, what men's health means to you.
Okay. I'll start first. I'll kick it off.
Great.
Even before we start, and me and Claude were actually teammates with the Lions. We were teammates with the Lions for around 2 years. We also played in the same All-Star game together when we were in college. So I actually met Claude even before we went to the NFL, and it's a pleasure just doing this with him. But at the same time, we both were drafted in the 5th round. And Claude can tell you who was drafted first, Claude. We went over this. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. Yeah.
You have your note card there.
But he's been a great teammate of mine, and I'm proud of what he's doing. Now, to get back to your question, Nina, talk about men's health. I can give you a little bit of my story and a segue into the reason why where I am right now being a fitness trainer. I was so obviously playing football, been playing football since high school and playing since college, and sports have always been a part of my life. Being in shape has been a part of my life. And I mean, like a lot of people, a lot of people that don't go to being a professional, it's a transition that goes after you play the game or after you play your sport, especially when you leave college. Fortunate for me and Claude, we made it to a level that a lot of people, they don't reach. We made it to the NFL. That's the creme de la creme. That's where everybody wants to be, like camera action. And it's a great, as far as letting, exercise be a part of your job. Like that's what we did. We worked out, trained our bodies to play this game. We got paid to be in shape. That's how great can that be, But like Claude said, he's in the transition when you leave the game. There's a process when you leave the game where now, your meetings aren't about, going down and tackling somebody, or 5 a.m. isn't, hey, we need you in the gym. Now, say, for example, like myself, I made the transition from being in professional sports to going into the corporate world. So now all of a sudden my focus wasn't on my body and me being in shape or so on my mind, which is still important, very important. But as far as just my task, my everyday task. So with me, I started getting out of shape. For me, I worked for an insurance, and from there I was working long hours. And honestly, man, I went from being a chiseled, in shape, ball player. In my mind, I thought I could be on Men's Magazine, to looking at myself in the mirror after 3 years with the company, having 3 kids at the time. Look at you, man. I went from being 221 pounds to close to 300 pounds. And I mean, I let myself slip. I mean, I sent you guys some pictures. So it was, and it was for me, for one, it messed with my confidence because at one point in my life, I was always in shape. Then all of a sudden now it's like, and I looked in the mirror and I said, man, I was like, it's literally over. I mean, it was to the point where I went to tie my shoes, Nina, and I didn't even feel like tying my shoes anymore.
Wow.
I mean, it was just walking upstairs. I was out of shape. So, 3 years ago, not 3 years ago, I'm sorry, about a year and a half ago, I dedicated myself to get back in shape. So little by little, I said, you know what, I'm going to run. Then I'm going to switch up how I eat. And then I started getting more back into boxing. And the boxing is kind of what gave me a goal. A lot of times, especially with men's health, we lose the goal. We don't have that vision of this is where I need for to get myself where I need to be. A lot of times I just need to go to the gym. I just need to lose a little weight. But I started to get that goal, that vision back that I lost from football. So from there, segue, that's when I transitioned more back to the fitness world. And also learning how to eat all over. I mean, you go from obviously we're working out every single day to now you're working out every other day or maybe a little here having to work. So now you're not burning the calories that you normally burn. And not only that, but then you add kids in there, right? All of a sudden now you got kids. And now it's not only that you have to have this job that you had, but now you want to be a great dad, you want to be a great mom. So now you have to balance and prioritize. So that's the whole thing as far as with me. My trans as far as being out of shape and being back in shape, my slogan is health is wealth. You can do all these great get all this money and all of a sudden you can lose your life like that. And now you can't even spend the time with the family that you wanted to because you let your health slip. So that has been my motivation as far as just getting back in shape. And I always say, especially like with football, Claude can say this, and I learned this from a lot of Florida guys. He said, you look good, you feel good, and what, Claude, you what?
That's good.
Play good. So that makes you know what I mean? So now I went from looking in the mirror like, oh my goodness, to all right, I feel a little bit better. Your confidence starts to raise. And so, I have a unique perspective. I've been on the side of being totally out of shape to being in shape and saying, man, now I understand how it feels to be this guy, working these long hours, having kids, and tired and saying, you know what, I don't feel like going to the gym. So I'm not going to take too much time. I'll let Claude give his little background.
Sure. Alex is a big fan of holding the mic. He could never be in a duo group. He would not pass the mic.
Here we go.
But Nina, men's health is Alex really hit on the really emotional part of the transition. For me, and what men's health means is that longevity. And one thing that that really spoke me some years back, Alex and I, we had a teammate from Detroit, and he died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
And when he passed with a heart attack, I mean, this guy, he was an offensive lineman, but after retirement, he lost his weight. He could have easily have gone for a linebacker, but nothing like where he was when he played. And a little joke to that is that they say offensive or linemen, they get slimmer, and cornerbacks and DBs, they turn into linemen. They blow up. But he was really in shape, and he was active, and he had a massive heart attack on the spot and passed in his 30s. And so that really hit me when it came into loved ones and friends who may not be doing so well in the activity department and staying healthy, being active, but just cherishing them while they're here. Because we have friends who are not in great health and horrible health even, but they're here with us. And just to cherish that. And then we have those who look to be doing all the right things, and they're gone just like that. So men's health, I think it goes into the part of appreciating yourself, appreciating wherever you are, appreciating that. And then also on the outside, loving that person where they are. And through that loving them where they are, I think we can then work to fixing the minor things. So I think the minor things are staying in shape, I think the majority, the big thing is loving that person while you have them. And so when Alex spoke of that activity life, that primary food group, that still resonates with me on so many levels, and just connecting with family, connecting with your past teammates. As you see with Alex and I, we talk maybe, it's kind of sad to say, maybe 9-10 times a day.
Why is it sad, Claude?
Between breaks. I mean, that's in our lifestyle, and I have other brothers who I talk to maybe 4 or 5 times a day. But that's the part, and it doesn't matter if he's in shape or not. I still get to talk, so we still get to get that primary touch of health and wellness, being able to talk to your brother.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Claude is in the health coach training program, and we have this concept called primary food, which is basically everything found off your plate that nourishes you. So your spirituality, the quality of your relationships, your career, physical activity. And you both touched upon that. Alex, you were talking about how being in shape gives you confidence.
Yes.
And how your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and even can dictate your physical health. Like if you just don't have the motivation to go to the gym, for example, or, you lack that motivation because you just feel you lack that confidence,
exactly.
Your physical health will suffer.
Yeah.
So I think you both really touched upon something that, is important when we do talk about men's health, is this stigma around talking about mental health. Yeah. And talking about the quality of your friendship. I mean, it's amazing that you guys talk 10 times a day.
Hey.
A lot of people don't know that.
I am married.
Yeah. Well, really, Nina, that's major, because it gives you those touches. I mean, my brothers, my cousins, my sisters, by relationship, just being able to connect and share, share what we're going through. Like, hey, I'm married and I need someone to talk to, or yeah. Hey, I'm not feeling my best in working out. Alex challenged me the other day to do 100 push-ups, and I was like, man, I don't know. And so, because right now I'm eating a lot healthier than I was before. I've always had a pretty good lifestyle in how I eat, but in the past year and a half, I've really slowed down on the working out, and so now I'm just gearing back up, as you say, building that confidence. Feeling how you look is how you play, so it all adds to that primary food.
And I was going to say this too, Nina, especially like with me in my position, it's great when old teammates can call me and say, man, what have you been doing? You know what I mean? And I love it when we motivate each other. Like this conversation, Claude called me to do this. Like, this is motivating me, So it's kind of like iron sharpening iron, So, especially when you're doing these things and you're putting yourself out there. Like Claude remembers, I was putting my little videos out there, and I would have old teammates call. Some teammates I was surprised that called me and said, "Hey man, you inspired me." I had a hashtag said "Hop in the DeLorean." You know what the DeLorean is, right? Back to the Future. So we're trying to get back the hands of time, and and I'm here telling you. I mean, especially as a man, a lot of times men, we had these egos. Like, we don't want to say like, this bothers me to take my shirt off or something like that and go in the swimming pool. But I was literally like that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep my shirt on and I'm going to go in the pool.
That's funny doing that, though.
I never thought I would be that way.
My family, we were traveling somewhere in Virginia. We were down there at the water park. And I kid you not, I did not want to take off my shirt.
Exactly,
and
man.
I was like, whoa, this.
And you never been like that in my life. Never
been like, yo, I don't like how I look. And I remember as a kid, when we go to the water parks, we're going to do push-ups real fast in the parking lot in the water park, try to do something. But that part that Alex mentioned, being able to show his profile pic of where he was and where he is now.
Yeah.
That goes in not just being in shape, but it also goes in the whole social media and as men and football players of we want to put on this idea that we have it all figured out and that transition was so smooth for us after football, after the sport. And so you'll look at guys and you'll see their family photos, like man, they're having fun. Look at his wife, she loves him so much. Look at his kids, they're perfect. And but you don't see, and not saying you're supposed to show all that information on Facebook, but you don't see what that person is dealing with in his quiet time. You don't see his prayer life. You don't see his, the issues financially or whatever that no one sees unless you're intimately involved with them. And so that men's health part is so major, especially with social media, where we can dress up in our best two shirts and you see that on camera. You think, oh, he got, but that person's really just trying to make it in a regular 9-to-5 job now. And so our ego takes a hit. That's the big point. Our ego takes a major hit. And if I give one story about that, I remember we had a rental property and we were furnishing this rental property. We were doing Airbnb rentals on it. And, Alex and I, we're the frugal type. I mean, like we pinch a penny. And so my wife and I, we're doing Craigslist runs, those who are giving away their beds or couches and checking out, see if it's worthy enough to go into this Airbnb. And I had on my Bears shorts on. And I think I had my Pittsburgh shorts on, Pittsburgh Panthers. I went to university. And he's like, oh, you in the pit? I was like, yeah, And he was asking me questions, and he had just had knee surgery. And I was giving him some advice on, how to take care of that knee. Don't slip on the rehab, do what needs to be done. And as I go out, and I'm carrying out this free bed that he just gave me, loaded up on my truck that I had since college. He runs out, and he's like, yo, why didn't you tell me that you played in the NFL? Like, he only knew my first name, and I went to Pitt, and he Googled that I played football in the NFL. And it hit me. It's like, yo, what does this guy think of me now? Where this one-time NFL football player is getting my used mattress off Craigslist post to load up in his truck. And he didn't know what I was going to do with it. And even telling the story is like, I'm telling the Airbnb part. Am I trying to mask what, does that matter? The point is that so many times we try to show a different lifestyle. And then when someone sees us in that reality mode, it's a hit to our ego. And I remember driving home like, yo, why does it bother you so much?
Yeah.
Why does it bother you that he saw that about you?
Hey, I was going to piggyback off that. I still remember, like I said, my little fitness journey. And I'm not trying to I'm going to keep it clean as possible, but I was going in the shower. And I remember I would avoid mirrors. You know what I mean?
Oh, just stop right there. That picture just started.
Yeah, you avoid mirrors, but then I looked in the mirror and I said, oh my goodness, like what happened? But then there was a moment where you just accepted and you said, this is who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You still have to, that's the confidence part where you like, look, I'm still gonna love myself. That's when you start to care for yourself again. That's when you say, okay, we are where we are. Now let's get better. But a lot of times, like Claude says, we have a way of covering things up, hiding things, acting like this doesn't bother me. Man, everybody goes through something. Mm-hmm. Everybody. Just people know how to ask it a lot better. Whether it's someone who says, I don't think I'm that, or girls like, I'm not that pretty, or I don't look like this, or I don't look like this anymore.
What do you compare yourself to?
Yeah, that was me. I looked at it, but then there has to be a moment, like I said, in my life where I said, this is who I am. You look dead in the mirror and you said, okay, now it's showtime. I'm either going to say if I accept who I am, or I'm saying, okay, I want to tweak some things. I want to get a little better, and then you take it one day at a time, but never get caught in the moment saying that no one goes through that. No one, nobody, especially with life, having kids, family, work, having to talk to the guy all the time. That was a big burden on
It sounds like you both had some really similar experiences, even though you were in very different phases and areas of your life.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's totally true with social media. It's a highlight reel. You're
Yeah.
only seeing what the person is choosing to show.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to get wrapped up. And I think a lot of the conversation, a lot of the time, tends to be focused, at least in wellness, about women looking at imagery that is unattainable or they think is unattainable. But
Airbrush effects.
totally.
Yeah.
But it goes to show men also feel these feelings too, and it's also very real and very impactful, even for even for two men who are NFL players, but also that you were focusing on your physique a lot. That was your career, right? You said it yourself, Alex. You were getting paid to work out, and you had these aha moments. It seems like where you realized, oh, I'm not feeling comfortable with how I look.
Exactly.
Looking back on that, what kind of advice do you think you would have liked to hear, whether it was from teammates or someone you looked up to, in your communities?
Oh, do you mean like as far as, is it post career or during my career?
Yeah. So, while you were transitioning out of being in the NFL into your next life, was there anyone you looked up to who helped you during that transition, or do you wish had helped you?
Well, I mean, the one thing I can say, fortunately, with the NFL, with the Detroit Lions, I can say they gave tools as far as knowing that the game wouldn't be forever. So I can say that. So my transition wasn't more so like I knew one day the game would end, and that for one, that the game didn't define me. You see what I mean? My identity was the game. My thing was when I just left the game, I just got out of shape. So if I could go back, I would try to tell the younger me, hey, you got all this time because you don't have any kids and you're just ripping and running right now. But when you have kids, you have a regular 9 to 5 job and you have other obligations, you're going to have to find a unique way to continue to prioritize correctly to keep yourself in shape. And that's kind of like what I did during the quarantine. Obviously, the kids being home, we have 4 kids, and kids always running all over the place and napping here. So I had to find ways to work out, to eat right, so I wouldn't let myself slip during the quarantine. I had this one method, I called it clean up and work out. So when the kids were asleep, I would do like reps and then clean up, reps and then clean up. Claude know this. I mean, you can clean up one area of the house, turn around and start cleaning up the other. The kids messed up the other area. You go back to this, and that you're in a hamster race. You're just going back and forth. So you try to find unique ways where, once again, you're getting workouts in, but yet you're still prioritizing the things correctly. The other thing is, like Claude does, I know he does this with his girls, get your kids involved in exercising with you, So you're out there, I'm doing push-ups. My son comes downstairs up from the nap. Normally it's like, oh, my workout's done. Like, no, come on. My little son's name's Christopher. He's the one that always gets up first. Christopher comes downstairs. I'm like, all right, come do some push-ups with daddy. I got videos with me and my kids doing push-ups and sit-ups together. And people are like, wow, that's amazing, man. And it's not like I'm trying to fake it. And once again, like social media, trying to put on a highlight reel, this is really part of my life. This was me trying to find a unique way to work out, to stay in shape, but still uphold my obligations or my prioritizing the correct way. Go ahead, Claude.
Yeah.
To that, Nina, it was for myself where I moved around a lot. I think when I last counted it, I think my number was 9 or 10 times I've been cut from an NFL team. So even though my life on the outside, I was saying I'm more than a football player. I'm this is just what I do. This is not who I am. And I was real hesitant to advertise. And just want to ask me, do you play football? I was like, no, I'm in construction. But I remember the first time I got cut from the team. It was a blow. I mean, it was a big blow to like, what do I do now? Where do you go? And And so for myself, that transition to getting cut from the Bears in '99, then getting cut from the Giants in '05, and then getting cut from arena football. I got cut from arena. I was like, I'm done. I'm just gonna use the money I've saved and buy some property. And that was eye opening for me until I got another shot to play, and then 9 cuts later, I retired. And so what happened though, each of those cuts, God showed himself to me in my transition. And I was working jobs. I was a substitute teacher. I worked at a packing house driving a forklift. After I got cut from I think that was the Bears, I was doing so many different things that helped prepare me where I thought that transition. And it was still tough when it was all said and done. When I was ready to retire, it was still tough. And so one thing that when I watch football games or I watch interviews with players, I kind of feel a lot of empathy for them because I know one day, no matter what, they're going to have to go through what every other football player went through, no matter how much money you made, no matter what highlight reels you have on YouTube, you're going to have to go through that transition. And the thing is you actually, is there anyone that you can reach out to, who we reached out to? A lot of us men, we suffer in silence.
Yeah.
In silence with what we're going through. We suffer in silence with, this pandemic, is like a lot of kids are suffering in silence, being at home, stuck with their overparenting parents like myself. And they're like, yo, I just want to get away from you right now, Daddy. But like, did you do your work? Did you do your work? All right, let's go outside. So, those things with men now is even amplified to a deafening silence because we are already coming from a gene span of, macho-ness sometimes, especially as an athlete. And then you move into another side of, I don't want anybody to know how bad I'm doing. Even if I have money in the bank, but I'm doing bad mentally. What's wrong with me? So they don't speak about it. And so now we're speaking up more as an organization or a fraternity of brothers to be able to come out and say, you know what, I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with this in my marriage. I'm dealing with this on my job. I remember after I retired, I was like Alex. I went into my first real job after retirement was life insurance. And I studied for this test, Nina, for maybe a month and a half. I was on the books, knocking it out, maybe a month. And I was studying so hard. And I sat down in that office to take this state exam now. And as I sat down, I felt this built up energy that I had nowhere to express. I'm in a quiet room with headphones and a computer and a notepad. And it was like huge, big hit to me because in football, you practice all week to release all that pent up energy and frustration and everything.
Somebody was going to get that.
You're like everybody's ready for game day. You're ready for that. And then you go to a career where if you hit somebody, you're going to prison. You go to a career where you're with a pencil and a pad and nowhere to scream. I wanted to scream. Like in football, you always let out that belt of, like it's game time.
Yeah.
And I'm in this room looking around at other people with their headphones on, looking at the computer, and this is game time. I have nowhere to put that energy. Like it was
wow.
That blew me. I failed the test the first time. Like I didn't know what to do. I was like,
hold on, you didn't tackle the instructor, did you?
Hey, anybody could have gotten it that because it was just a shock, and I wasn't prepared for that. So when I take the test the second time, I was more prepared to know, like, all right, Claude, you remember what happened when you sat down at the computer looking at, like, what am I supposed to do with this energy and getting mentally psyched up? But that mental space and that transition, that who do you talk to? Am I wrong for sharing? Those are the things that we as men, we have to get past.
Yeah. I was going to hit on one thing that Claude said that's so important, very important. And that's something that we've kept over the years. Not have I kept it with Claude, but my teammate from Wisconsin, he lives 15 minutes from, and it's accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Accountability. And accountability obviously is someone holding you accountable? Are you doing this, or do you have a problem? And the thing about accountability, which is so important, once again, you got to be transparent. You got to put this down, and you got to let people in. Like I said, whether it's men, because I don't want to just say it's only men, but women do it too. We put it up because we don't want to show ourselves a lot of times, because those sides of ourselves at times where things can be shameful, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to find the right people that you can let your guard down and really tell them what you're dealing with. Because honestly, it's almost like I can give it like a bench press. And obviously, like we get on the bench press, and I know this is sports terms, but I can get on there and I can hit 135 pounds like it's nothing. But then there's that weight where, man, I need help. I need a spot. I need somebody to come in and maybe not lift, because sometimes we got bad spots. Sometimes we got that person that lift the whole weight up for you, and you know you didn't do that weight. You know you didn't do it. But you jump off like, yeah, I did it. Like, no. But then you got that good spot, that guy that's just going to tap that bar just a little. Just tap it just a little bit up.
Encouraging word.
But in the process of doing that, you're really getting stronger when someone is coming in and they're helping you. So that's another thing, man, letting down your pride, that pride where it's just like, there's a good sense of pride, then there's a bad sense of pride. That good sense of pride is like, look, the person who I am, I love me, I still love me. Hey, there's only one me. I'm special. Not that I'm special, any more special than you, but hey, I'm special. God made me unique. This is how I am. But that bad sense of pride is, no, I don't need any help. I'm good. No, I don't want to talk about that. Nope, I don't have those issues. My life is good. My family's good. You're like, nah, something's not right, So, and once again, that's a process at times. And I gained that friendship with him over the years. We've been in situations, been roommates together. We fought over the television. He likes to sleep with the TV on, and I was like, what's wrong with this guy? His eyes is closed, but yet he still wants to watch TV with his eyes. So we've had countless situations. One of the biggest ones is Claude probably never told you this. I don't know if he wants to. Claude died and came back to life. Literally. Seriously. He went cold blue on the table. And when I heard that hit me right away. And I made an emergency flight right out to go see him. He actually just had a baby at the time. And his wife was there. Rachel had the newborn baby in one hand, had the other baby in one hand. I just had a baby, left my baby at home. I'm still thinking I may just get a little break because I just got this little baby and I can get away for a little while. And as soon as I came to Claude's house, Rachel said, here, take this baby. I said, oh, my goodness. I went from even one baby, now I got another baby.
You had two babies. Our babies are at the same time.
We had babies at the same time.
Our babies are the same ages. But now, and that's crazy. You forget about so many things that help make you where you are, because so many lessons that you learn. I was just before I retired, I was playing in Canada, and I had just come home from Montreal, and it was a week before Thanksgiving, and I had this headache. I was watching a Netflix series on my phone, living room or the dining room, and I just got a headache just hit me. It was a Friday night, I think. And I went to my wife, I was like, man, this headache hurts. And so from there, Sunday, I had a fever. Or Saturday night, I had a fever. My fever is, kid you not, it was around 103. I remember, and coming from athletic background, and Alex's mom is from Jamaica. I was born in Jamaica. And, you sweat it out. Like, yeah, you got a fever? Put some sweatpants on, drink some soup, and go to sleep. You'll feel better in the morning, which I've done millions of times. But this time, I woke up in the morning, and my body was burning. I mean, I was sleeping downstairs away from the wife and the kids, and my body was burning. So I took all the clothes off, and when I took the clothes off, then I started sweating. Like, I didn't even sweat when I had 3-4 sweatsuits on. I wasn't sweating. So the next day, I said, man, I got to go to the hospital. So a friend took me to the hospital. I get in the hospital, and I hope I can make this story a little shorter. I'll get into the hospital. They do all these tests on me. They say, oh, no, you're fine. You're good. and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. They're saying, can somebody come pick you up? I was like, no, please just let me stay here. You know, like something's not right with me. Let me stay here. They said, no, we need the beds. They said, do you have money to call a cab? I was like, no. I had my wallet in my pocket, but I was like, no, I need to stay in your hospital. I have no money. You got to stay here. My wife is sleeping with the kids. I can't go anywhere. They're like, okay, we'll call you a cab. And they called and paid for me a cab to go home at 3:30 in the morning. And the next day, I just saw, this is where, you know, you listen to your body. My urine was red. I was like, yo, this is not good. So I went back to the same hospital. My wife called that day and had a fit. And they called me back and said, sir, we're so sorry how you're treated. But if you need anything at all, just come in, we'll take care of you. So I went back to that hospital because I knew they already did a bunch of tests and we could move along and fasten the process. But long story short, this is the day before Thanksgiving. I check back in. They see something. When I tell them what I saw in the toilet, they're like, hey, something might be wrong with your liver. And I go ahead, they admit me. Thanksgiving morning, MRI. They tell me, sir, we're going to shoot you up. You're going to feel a cool sensation coming over your body. And when you feel this cool sensation, it's okay. I was like, all right. And they're shooting me up with gadolinium and that dye to highlight your stomach so the pictures come out. And when they do that, I start burning. Like my body starts burning. I'm like, hey, something's not right. Get me out of here. And she rolls me out. She comes in, and as I tell her I need to get up, she says, well, if you get up, and I finish her sentence, I said, I'm going to have to start this all over again. I already been in for maybe an hour and a half. And she says, yeah, you got to start over. As soon as I thought about going back in the machine, I just felt my body breaking out. I thought it was sweat, but it's really boiling. I was having an allergic reaction to the gadolinium. And so I remember standing up. I remember trying to get up, and I threw my robe off. I was like, what do you do to me? And I just remember her turning and running out the door like, coding. And I said to myself, you lean forward, you're going to fall. And I blacked out. I woke back up, and I'm still mad and angry for whatever just happened to me. I wake up, and they're lifting my body from the bed on the MRI table to another bed. And I was like, what do y'all do to me? And then I passed back out again. And I wake back up, it's doctors over me with the lights like in the TV show. And I'm mad. I'm hot. I'm still mad. They're putting a mask over me, and I pass back out. After that, I wake back up, and everybody's cheering and clapping. I was like, what's so funny? I got the mask on. What's so funny? And the doctor says, we just got your blood pressure back. And I didn't know what that meant. So I'm sitting there, they're wheeling me to ICU, and I see my nurse. And I said to my nurse, I said, don't call my wife. This just happened. I'm like, don't call my wife. The doctor says, he says, call his wife. I was like, no, I got a mask on. I'm like, don't call my wife. And she comes over to me. She says, your wife called just as you start coding. Like, so she knows already. She's on her way. So, yeah, I went cold.
What coding means, Claude. What does coding mean?
Yeah, so I went cold blue on the table. That coding was saying that they're cardiac arrest or whatever, they're losing me. So I went cold blue on the table, and I was in the hospital for 9 days, you know, and that was, and how I remember, so that was Thanksgiving Day. My youngest was born here in 2012, so I always consider Thanksgiving my second birthday. So, you know, another chance to life. But yeah, so thanks for bringing that up, Alex. Appreciate it. That was part of that, you know, that healthy living. And they didn't figure out what happened, but it was bacteria on the liver that when I woke back up in ICU, I had 2 drainages out my liver. But that's just a part of the journey.
And Nina, I was going to say, that's the big thing about accountability. Like I said, I came out there. This guy put me to work. I felt that wasn't even a vacation. I had a baby in one hand and had a ratchet in the other hand. But the thing about it is this. Claude rarely remembers this, but years before that, I got sick. Mm-hmm. And I went to the hospital. I was throwing up to the point, man, where I couldn't throw up anymore. I started throwing up. I'm not trying to be vulgar, but I was throwing up green stuff. I mean, I was.
It was bad. It was bad, Nina.
And he was at my bedside. He actually was took me to the hospital right at my bedside. And I remember I was like, Claude, pray for me, please. But you see that accountability, you know what I mean? Years later, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and walking this journey, the one thing I could say is this: we're not supposed to walk it alone.
No,
Not supposed to walk it alone. Like Claude said, at times as men, we suffer in silence, whether it's with our health, whether it's with marriage, whether it's with our careers,
finances.
the finances, you know, don't suffer alone, you know, and don't, you know, and main thing is have somebody there that's accountable, that can be transparent together, you know, being real, honest. And I could say that has made me part of the man who I am today. You know, I've a saying that says iron sharpens iron, you know. So, you know, we all at times we can get a little dull. And at times where I'm at my weakest, he helps me out. And at times where he's always weak, I'm always helping him out.
Hey, Nina, the funny thing about Alex's story is crazy.
Sorry about that, guys. The lights went off.
You didn't pay light bill, Alex. You didn't pay your light bill. But now, Nina, the funny thing as he comes back is that when we're in the hospital for him, back when we were with the Lions, he's like, Claude, lay hands on me and pray for me. And Alex's feet aren't the prettiest feet. But I looked at how he was spitting up the green stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna put my hand down here on your ankle. So I actually laid hands on his ankle and I prayed for him, just because I was not getting any closer to whatever he had. So it was a funny story and a crazy night at that, just to see him go through that. But yeah, I think he overpaid on the payback when he came out and helped my wife out and the kids out, because he left his two kids for the same ages as my two kids to come take care of my two kids. So
yes, I did. Yes, I did. You owe me big time.
Debt's paid. Trust me.
Well, you guys have such a special relationship, and I think that's been like the common theme throughout every story you've told, is that community and having someone to keep you accountable and someone to be able to lean on is so important. I mean, you both mentioned you're both married with families and you have your own separate lives, but they're intertwined. You guys, you put in the effort to connect with one another because you want to put the energy there. You know, the grass is only green where you water it, right? Like if you want to have meaningful connections, you have to put in the time. And I think your friendship really exemplifies that. And I think is so important in the conversation around men's health is the importance of connection and finding someone you can trust and be yourself with.
People
I agree.
in solitude, man, they suffer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They suffer.
Yeah, Nina, that part is, as Alex said and you stated, you know, we're not meant to be alone. You still need that compatibility with another brother to you know, that you're transparent with and he's transparent with you to help you along that way. You know,
yeah. As long as he turns the television off, we're all good. Don't sleep the TV on.
So Nina, you see, it's not always laughs, but his jokes are never that funny. But that's what you need. You need that love. You know what? No matter what's going on, I love what Mr. Joshua said in module 12, I think. He said the body never keeps track of the good things. It only keeps track of the things that's wrong, like your knee hurts or your elbow hurts. But sometimes we have to, even in the tough times, we have to remind ourselves of the good things that are working. You know, I can see this morning I woke up. Even though I couldn't walk, but I could see, I could hear, I could talk. You know, we have to keep track of the positive things. And the brain is going to do its job and let us know what's not working properly. But we have to recognize that we are not supposed to be isolated and we can be transparent, then we can start solving those issues.
Definitely, man. That was awesome, man. Well, look, the lights in here just went off. I'm actually in the bathroom right now. We paid the bill, but they got a timer out there, and I don't have any light anymore, as you see out there. And I don't want to have a mask on in this building by myself.
Well, I think that was an amazing way to wrap this up. I think I think you're right. We need to find time to find the positive, find gratitude, look for the abundance in our lives. And it seems like both of you are really, that's your attitude on a daily basis. It really seems like that.
And I just want to thank you for allowing us to have this platform to share our personal relationship and also our own story. So, and sharing it our unique way.
Well, thank you. And you're very welcome. We're happy to have you.